This is NBC 16 Today.
Good morning and welcome to NBC 16 Today. I'm Stephanie Rothman filling in for Kendall.
And I'm Heather Melendez. Now it's a cool July day, lots of cloud coverage, and here's a live look outside from our Blanton cam. Clouds won't go anywhere much longer until the afternoon, but it's keeping us cool. Temperatures will remain in the 50s for us this morning, 58 down in Roseburg. And again, it's not going to really leave until later on this evening. Now, once that happens, we'll have temperatures set in the 70s, low 70s for those out in Eugene, 76 for Roseburg, and mid 60s for those out in the coast. We'll have beautiful conditions. Much cooler. This is our 10th consecutive day of sub 80-degree temperatures, though we do have moisture in the area. Stephanie, I'll let you know who's experiencing some light drizzle in my 4-weather forecast.
Hopefully not us. Thanks, Heather. We're finding out this morning after an official sanctioned fireworks display in Roseburg ended up setting a hill on fire. This footage is from the Reservoir Hill from over the weekend between when the fireworks show started at 10 p.m. and when it eventually was put out closer to 11. Fire officials tell us they were on standby for something just like this, and it even burned off much of the fire hazards on the hill prior to the show. But that didn't stop mortars from setting the hill ablaze. The property is owned by the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe Indians, who were also one of the event sponsors. And this 4th of July had the most calls to Central Lane 911 to report illegal fireworks. Eugene police say over 116 calls were made about the noise and potential fire hazard. That's a difference at about 76 calls from last year. And the calls were made between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. last night. The baseline fine for illegal firework violators is $250. Police didn't provide how many violators were actually fined. And developing news this morning, Oregon State Police say a display by one of their troopers at a 4th of July protest was taken out of context. The incident caught on camera shows a man pushing another to the ground. This is after he's arrested. The trooper approaches the man who fell and gives him the okay gesture. The Anti-Defamation League says it's a hate symbol now associated with white supremacy. OSP says the trooper was just checking to make sure the man was okay after the fall. Writing in a statement, we appreciate the public would be concerned and rightfully outraged if an OSP trooper were to flash an offensive gesture. In this instance, we would ask the public to await the complete information before condemning a trooper with an irreparable and harmful label. Our sister station reached out to Governor Brown and Attorney General Rosenblum for a comment, but have not heard back. A new brewery in Cottage Grove is hoping their presence helps revamp downtown. But as KVAL's Alex Hassenstop shows us, opening in the middle of a pandemic is no simple task.
The Covered Bridge Brewery in Cottage Grove hasn't been open for more than a few weeks. Co-owner Chrissy Chapman says that opening in a pandemic has been
nerve-wracking, as opening a new business is anyways, and then to add that on top of it.
Chapman bought the building, a former auto shop, almost 2 years ago, and for the past few months, the pandemic has slowed down opening.
So we had construction delays. We also had delays in getting materials. So it probably put us about 3 months behind.
But Chapman says as Lane County went into phase 2 of reopening in June, they decided to move ahead with their grand opening.
We just wanted to get open. It was time, and we were like, well, let's just do it and see what happens.
Chapman says the new brewery and beer garden has been welcomed by the community, especially as local efforts continue to revamp downtown.
Everybody's been very supportive, loves it, is happy that this is here in Cottage Grove.
She believes there would be more customers without a pandemic, but is hopeful that the community support will keep business going. I'm Alex Hassenstaub reporting.
As counties reopen, people are enjoying bars and restaurants once again, but public health officials say consuming alcohol is causing some health guidelines to be going out the window. Megan Allison reports.
We'd like to think that can be in August, and if it's not, there's going to be a lot of panic setting in.
Kurt Huffman owns bars and restaurants across Portland.
These are all the cake beers that we're aging.
Huffman hopes to open indoor spaces during phase 2. In the meantime, parking lots are becoming patios to keep customers safe.
So kind of the perverted aspect of all this is that the people that are following the rules the least are the busiest and are doing the best, and those that are being the most cautious are kind of suffering almost from our excess of caution.
Huffman says tables will be 6 feet apart and servers will come out to limit people going into the building.
In my opinion, the problem areas are the bars that promote kind of close proximity to one another. They have music going. People end up getting, near each other. We're going to do the most spaced out plan possible to mitigate that.
Public health experts we spoke with agree.
When you're indoors, the flow of the air is rather limited. There is noise that makes people speak louder. And when you speak louder, then you have more air droplets.
But even outside, professionals like Dr. Crespo say drinking in groups can lead to virus spread as people forego mask use and social distancing.
There's rather basic things, but these are things that we're not used to. It's not like we have a reflex like we do when we get in the car and we put our seatbelt. These are things that you have to actually be intentional and remember.
The PSU professor says being outdoors in the summer can help, as UV lighting can mitigate the impact of the virus.
Well, next on NBC 16 today, yet another health concern for 2020. After the break, we'll tell you how tick season could be a rough one this year. Coming up.
Next, Ellen, T.I., Chance, and Cardi B Unfiltered.
And now weather with Heather Melendez.
Well, good morning. A cloudy start to our July, much cooler than what we should be expecting for this time of year, but that's because that cold front is bringing in tons of cloud coverage, even some drizzle for those out in the coast. We managed to pick up a couple of raindrops this morning, but it should start to dry out as we head into the afternoon. For today, though, visibility will clear out for us here in the valleys along the I-5, but still remain cloudy and foggy for those out in the coast. That overcast conditions will remain into the nighttime as that moisture moves on in. But in terms of wind speeds, very mild. Typically, we had gusty winds last week. Today, we're on the single-digit side, except for those down in Gold Beach. They'll manage to have double digits, especially for those up in those higher elevated areas. Now, we're dry today and dry tomorrow for those valleys. So today, we'll have moderate levels of pollen. In terms of tomorrow, same thing. We'll gradually warm back up Wednesday into our Thursday, which will kick up our pollen count. Today, again, we're on the mild side, forecasting 70s for those in Eugene. Those in the Umpqua Valley, slightly warmer. They'll warm up into the mid-70s for today. 60s for those out on the coast. And again, will be a beautiful week. We'll have these last three remaining 70-degree weather temperatures for these next few days. But by Wednesday night into our Thursday, we'll have that high-pressure system warming us back into the 80s. And to stay up to date with your latest weather forecast, be sure to download our app, like us on Facebook, and be sure to go to NBC16.com/weather.
As always, Heather with the weather.
You know what to do.
Exactly.
Do you have any plans for today?
Ooh, for today? I don't know. Now that I'm on this schedule, filling in for Kendall this week, I'm all,
It's different.
out of whack. Yeah, exactly.
it's changed.
Last night I didn't get to sleep till 10-ish, which is really late for morning people.
Yeah, that's like a 4-hour.
I know.
That's a fat nap. That is
I
a
know.
nice little nap.
So I guess my answer to your question is my plan is sleep. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna be better tonight, I promise.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's just the way it goes sometimes. But I do feel more awake now that I'm next to you. And we're doing
I
everything.
got the coffee. I'll bring us coffee tomorrow and a little snack, and hopefully that'll start your week on the right side, ready to go.
Yeah.
And things will warm up. So definitely have plans for later on this weekend.
Yeah. It's exciting because it's like we've been talking about the weather being so gray and gloomy, and now we're getting that nice weather. Yeah.
It's a little odd for July.
I know, it's not June gloom, as they say, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we just keep on fingers crossing, and it finally paid off. We got this nice weather, so I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Heather. Well, the summer of coronavirus, it has parents doubly concerned. Talking about us with the nice weather, soon enough children will be going back to school, and that their school-age children may be missing out on more than just learning when this happens. Details from NBC's Chris Clackham.
In a typical summer, parents worry their child will suffer a loss of learning, otherwise known as the summer slide.
Exercising?
But this summer, even more so.
It's not just been learning loss, it's been learning that never happened.
Who ever would have known that we would be experiencing this kind of trauma?
The extraordinary circumstances have educators and child development experts offering parents advice beyond just educating their children.
This is a really crucial time for their social and emotional development.
For example, getting your child to think beyond today.
We try to keep kids focused on the future orientation. We want them to think about what would you like to do with your friends as soon as we don't have to stay home.
Or convincing parents who've been forced into homeschooling to cut themselves some slack.
And right now, we're really telling parents, please don't try to do this alone.
Put salt and pepper on the chicken mix.
They're emphasizing that as close as a few weeks from now, the summer slide will stall because schools will reopen. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
Well, now court watchers are waiting for the U.S. Supreme Court to review several cases, including some high-profile ones. One case in which the Supreme Court has not yet announced a ruling involves President Trump's financial records. Another includes the Electoral College and faithless electors. It's possible a ruling in one or more of those cases could be announced just this morning. And NBC News will have more on those decisions when they happen. Cecily Aguilar, a woman allegedly involved in tampering with evidence after a missing Fort Hood soldier turns up dead, appears in court today. 22-year-old Aguilar has been charged with conspiracy to tamper with evidence after Aaron Robertson is believed to have killed Private First Class Vanessa Guion with a hammer. He apparently killed himself. Robinson allegedly had assistance from Aguilar in dismembering and attempting to burn Guion's body. Aguilar is set to remain in custody after her court appearance in Waco, Texas today. And protesters pulled down another statue, a Christopher Columbus one in Maryland. It happened in Baltimore on the 4th of July. Cell phone video shows demonstrators standing on the monument and using a rope to pull it down. Protesters then reportedly threw the monument into the city's Inner Harbor. Demonstrators mobilized by the death of George Floyd at the hands of police have called for the removal of statues of Columbus, Confederate figures, and others. They say the Italian explorer is responsible for the genocide and exploitation of Native people in the Americas. And yet another health concern for 2020, like we need another one of those. Well, the Lyme disease research group is talking about a mild winter and how that could make for this year's tick season especially rough. Other medical experts say hikers and campers may just explode into the outdoors, and there may not be the same thoughtful approach as there used to be preventing this exposure. Experts say that's because many people who have been stuck inside due to the virus may let their guard down once they were able to venture back outside. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced an increase in tick-borne diseases like Lyme disease. Next on NBC 16 today, one person is dead and another is critically injured after a car plowed into a crowd of protesters early Saturday. After the break, we'll bring you all those details that you need to know.